Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into the life of a true icon, Marianne Faithfull,
Marianne Faithfull. Yeah.
who recently passed away at the age of 78.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even if you don't know her name super well, you've probably heard her voice. At least that's what I thought. But prepping for this, going through all these articles, I'm just blown away. Like, her story,
Oh, yeah.
it is anything BT ordinary.
It's massive. We could do like 10 deep dives and still only scratch the surface, really.
No kidding. Okay, so obviously we've got limited time, but where do we even begin?
Well, you're right. She was so much more than just a singer or an actress or even like a style icon. But I think to really get her, we've got to start with the music.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of music, I think most folks, when they hear her name, they think As Tears Go By, right?
Right, which is interesting because
That classic Rolling Stones song.
it is a Stones classic, but she actually recorded it first before the Stones even put out their version.
Oh, wow. I did not realize that.
Yeah, Jagger and Richards wrote it, but she was the first voice on it.
Huh. So, I mean, obviously that ties into the whole Rolling Stones connection, which we have to talk about.
Absolutely crucial to the early part of her story. That whole scene, the 60s, that energy. I mean, it kind of shaped her early sound, you know?
So did she just like ride that wave the whole time?
Oh, no, not at all. That's what's so cool. She could easily been like the 60s girl and that's it, but she kept going. Folk, blues, later on, even punk spoken word.
Yeah, that evolution really jumped out at me reading these articles too. And it wasn't just like, oh, she's maturing. This was like reinvention almost.
Several times over, yeah. Like one article talked about how she basically walked away from music for a while.
Right. There were some difficult times in there.
Addiction, yeah, really dark period. But then late 70s, bam, this huge comeback.
And the music she made then.
Totally different feel. Raw, vulnerable, powerful. You can hear it all in her voice.
Do you think that was a conscious artistic choice, or
Yeah.
was it more like life just kind of pushed her in that direction?
I think it's got to be both, right? Like,
Right.
she chose to keep making art, but the experiences shaped what that art became.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, one thing that surprised me going through all this was how much emphasis there is on her acting career.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I knew she was in some stuff, but it wasn't just a hobby, you know?
Serious roles, like Girl on a Motorcycle, super iconic.
And even Shakespeare on stage, which, wow, talk about range. So
Yeah.
what do you think drew her to that world?
Well, I think, like we were saying before, she just never wanted to be put in a box. And acting, you inhabit these different characters, different lives. One interview even, she said acting was like her escape from the music industry pressure cooker.
Interesting. So really, if you look at it all together, muse, rebel, artist,
Iconoclast even?
totally. But like, what's the takeaway for people listening? What's the Marianne Faithfull legacy?
I think it's resilience, maybe. Reinvention. This woman went through so much, but always came back. Stronger, bolder, and with something new to say. It's like proof that you can change, evolve, no matter what life throws at you. Find your voice, even if it takes a few tries.
That's really well said. It's been a fascinating deep dive, and you've really given us a lot to think about.
My pleasure. And if anyone wants to go even deeper, I highly recommend checking out her music, especially that early As Tears Go By recording. It's a different vibe from the Stones version, but just as powerful, you know, a glimpse into the artist she'd become.
Awesome. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.